and I just got a, I don't know if you guys saw this in the notes, but yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sit as with the audience, put myself on mute, listen to both of you, what you have to share, because I don't know even know where to begin.
Hold on,
I mean,
Santa. Before
yeah,
we get there,
I don't know if you
didn't
guys
you
saw
just
this
post
in the,
something about the FDIC and
yeah,
Silicon Valley Bank?
uh, yeah,
This
I
is
did.
news
Yeah,
to me. Can you fill me in here? Because I
yeah.
need to
Well,
know
I'm just
this.
I
getting
want
it.
to know.
So we get intel from this particular person. We call her our Twitter friend. She
Okay.
has been she doesn't post publicly. She gives me information, and she told me last night why she's giving it to me. She's been in touch with me for, well, back in 2020. Long story short, I had a rant with my audience. I'll try to keep this like Reader's Digest. I had a rant, and I was so mad at Trump supporters. And I was like, man, you guys just, if you spent 5 minutes in his shoes, I go, my hat's off to you, but you can't. I'm done. Over. And that was on a Friday. So she came in, she goes, Santa, Trump really needs you. I'm thinking, ah. And I said, I'm coming back on Monday. She goes, oh, I thought you were leaving for good. And I said, no, I'm coming back on Monday. Well, anyway, we lost touch and now we reconnected just recently. Everything that's happening right now, she has told us about this 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, getting the bank money out, the bank runs, all of this stuff that's coming out. So she just posted, and she's very cryptic when I could tell when she's really busy. She's probably in two different time zones here in Europe or whatever. FDIC pulled out of buying SVPD, which is big. So she shares information before it hits the news. I found another person who posts publicly. He goes by American Patriot, or also known as U.S. Guardian Eagle on Truth. Oh my gosh, my head was spinning because he's sharing similar information. But she was saying, she said, okay, she's kind of giving me some information this morning, and I guess she knows that I'm having my live. Hi, Twitter friend, if you're listening. So Biden is going to go down. There's things about SCOTUS. Keep our eyes on SCOTUS. They're trying to distract. The banks are all going to collapse. And it's because the new technology, new things will be coming out. Um, the cabal will try a few more things, but they're broke. And some things I have to, can't,
Well,
no,
we're
okay.
we're draining while you're looking that up. We're draining the coffers of the quote unquote cabal. Basically, that's what we're doing. Like,
Uh,
people always ask me, why I'm so focused on the AMC. I'm going to tell you right now, AMC is way more than just that. Hey, you can make money in this play, and I think more and more people are starting to realize what AMC really is. We think about this, everybody. It's so funny because on Twitter you always get the people. And there's obvious shills, but then there's actual investors, retail apes who are like, man, this is fucking frustrating. Like, does the corruption ever end? But think about it, if we hadn't have done AMC, if millions of us hadn't gotten into AMC, if people like Marcel and myself and all the other people who cover AMC, who do the due diligence, who dig and dig and dig, people like Ape Average and Stock Retail, and there's a whole bunch of people, Peter Hahn, Bigums. There's a lot of names of people who dig and put the information out there. If none of us had done that, would we be uncovering the corruption that is in Wall Street? Would FTX, would it have happened? I mean, that's a question I ask myself. Would that have happened? Would we see these banks starting to fail? Because I think they got their hand caught in the motherfucking cookie jar. Oh, sorry, mother beep, cookie jar. That's for Santa. Um, they got their hand caught in the cookie jar. And for those of you who don't know the parable of the cookie jar, there's a jar full of cookies, and one monkey reached in, grabbed one cookie, was able to pull his hand out and eat his cookie. Then the next greedy monkey went in, reached in, tried to grab all the cookies, and because he grabbed all the cookies, he couldn't pull his hand out of the cookie jar. He had to drop them all. Ended up with no cookies, and that's as basic as you can make it. But that's the situation they're in. They thought we would go away. They thought we would be scared. They thought we would capitulate, and we said, "Nah, fuck that. We're done with that. No, we're done with your shit. We're gonna win."
It's a huge symptom of the sickness currently going on in the financial markets more than anything, in my opinion. What we've got going on with AMC is just one of the many symptoms that you can see spread across other stocks. You know, the massive shorting that's going on in meme stocks, the overvaluation of tech stocks and real estate, mortgage-backed securities, you know, everything that's going on right now, and it's all intermingled, you know, and the heavy amount of shorting that's going on with silver and gold and precious metals. So I do have to agree with you on that.
Well, can you show a chart on I mean, and explain that again? Because I think some of my viewers, I know that they kind of missed some of that about the shorting of the silver. I just found it interesting because you heard this past week, JP Morgan was kind of up in arms about getting a bag of rocks instead of,
It was
and
LME,
I mean, that was a
wasn't it?
total Charlie Brown
Yeah.
cartoon. I got a rock. But
One second.
so if they're that broke, I mean, if they're that successful, they wouldn't be squabbling over $1.3 million of nickels, and
Well,
it turned out
I
to be
think
rocks.
it's nickel specifically, like the metal nickel, and it makes you wonder. Remember the big like mini squeeze that happened a while ago with nickel, like, and they had to shut the market down to stop it from getting out of control.
That was like 3 years ago. Yeah,
No, that was like in the fall, I think.
was it?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Oh,
there was a nickel. Let me look this up here. But there was a nickel squeeze. Um, Geez, it wasn't that long ago.
With London
Fall.
Metals Exchange, nickel went up to $100,000 per ton,
Yeah,
and
oh,
yeah,
oh my gosh.
thousands of
Oh my.
trades were reversed. Everything between about 50,000 and $100,000 per ton was reversed, basically stealing money back, clawing money back from thousands of investors. That all those trades were reversed.
Oh my.
And now let's say that London Metals Exchange is basically operating, is barely operating at this point. Nobody has uh, any trust in them whatsoever. So very few people are trading on LME at this point, and it looks like they're on the verge of collapse as well.
They didn't they last year though they halted trading silver and gold, yeah? And I mean, this is
There's been a
a
huge,
metals exchange.
yep,
I mean, that's like somebody who sells like, you know, cereal. And then it's like, oh, we're not going to sell cereal anymore.
pretty much.
That's ridiculous. So let me just share a little bit more about my Twitter friend, and then maybe it'll help tie into narratives that you all have. And just to let you know, guys, we don't have like a powwow before any of this. We literally we just throw in everything, right? I mean, I don't sit there and talk to you, Woody, and say, hey, okay, what are we going to talk about? We just kind of all
total
follow each
shoot from
other's
the hip.
narrative and run with it.
That
Okay.
that's honestly how I've done pretty much everything with this channel. So, and anybody who's been here for any length of time knows, like, I am the epitome of the unprepared. I'm just going to shoot from the hip. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Hold on, let me find it. Like, well,
That's
I don't have any of that shit ready, but I'll go find it real quick and we'll talk about it. No, I mean that's honestly that's better. I like that better. Honestly, I mean, if I'm going to consume content, I want real, genuine content. Like
Mhm.
for me personally, and I'm sure obviously there's some people that enjoy it too because they come to my channel, they go to Boss's channel. Boss has a lot of really prepared, fancy looking stuff on his all the time too. I particularly enjoy his song that he has at the end. I like that song. I kind of want to steal it, but that's his thing. So I got to come up with I got the rocket launching, but he's got that neat song. It's like an earworm. I hear it all day long after I play.
Isn't it funny though? Some of the music it just sticks with you all day, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, that's the Butcher of Wall Street. That's
yeah.
his song. All right, you got a screen up here, boss.
London Metals Exchange. This is the same exchange that had to basically pull the trading on nickel and reverse the trading on nickel in order to save themselves from insolvency because they're owned by China, by the way, LME, and a Chinese investor actually was unwilling to pay his margin call. So in order to prevent themselves from becoming insolvent and save JP Morgan as well from a huge loss, LME reversed all these trades. So just recently, this was on March 17th, just last week, LME found bags of stones instead of nickel in their warehouse. So what they have, nickel backed, supposedly, is backed, the paper of nickel is backed by actual precious metals there. It turns out that they had $500 million worth of stones instead of nickel. So obviously completely worthless. They just had bags upon bags of stones.
I wonder if that's connected to that squeeze in a way. I wonder how that plays, if that plays into that massive nickel squeeze and the clawing back and everything that they did.
What if they actually knew about it a long time ago and they're just now starting to talk about it after they've, purchased more nickel to make up for the losses there? I'm not sure, but nothing would surprise me at this point, right?
Well, that seems to be the go-to right now. Like literally everything that's coming out right now, and it's not just markets, it's not just gold, nickel, and all that kind of stuff too, but everything that's coming out about everything, COVID, all this. Oh yeah, we knew years ago. We're just telling you now. Yeah, we knew it came from the Wuhan lab. We're just telling you now. We knew that it was funded through NIH, but we're just telling you now. Like all these things. Oh yeah, we knew Hunter's laptop was real, but we're just telling you now. Like we're just confirming it now. And it seems to be about like everything for this month. Like this month, it seems like everything is like, oh yeah, you remember that thing that everybody called you a crazy fuck, like a whack job for talking about? Oh yeah, by the way, that's real. Here comes the I told you so. So yeah, that seems to be the go-to, and it really makes you wonder what is. Well, and I mean, some of us have a very good idea, but the push now seems to be headed in the right direction as far as, like, if you want to think of it as white hat, black hat, good guy, bad guy, whatever, it seems to be heading in the right direction now. And it is. And if your eyes are open, you can really kind of see all of that starting to happen, and that's pretty exciting, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I just got an update. I think this is gonna be a squirrel conversation, meaning we're gonna get like jumping back and forth. Boss, to answer your question of,
Oh, that's cool.
no, so you didn't, okay. Boss, you are asking about what's that all about? The FDIC, they pulled out of buying SVB. FDIC are probably pushing for a better deal. So what happens is this, she shares stuff with me and it usually hits the headlines, a day to a week later. And she has been spot on everything. And I actually didn't share her stuff for 2 weeks because I wanted to see how her information rolled out, and it was rolling out just beautifully. So she says FDIC is probably pushing for a better deal. But anyway, it has to, similar to Credit Suisse. And she was telling me that all the big banks are going to start falling, and it's because they want to do it as a distraction for Project Bluebeam, and they're going to start denouncing the good stuff that's going to be starting to come out. And also, she warns us about the quantum financial system. There's a lot of links, especially on Telegram, about click on this link to get your quantum money. And she said it doesn't work that way. They will call you. There you are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sale is closed.
Excellent.
FDIC.
Thanks. Yeah, it looks like the SVIB sale is close. FDIC is seeking a deal. They're basically holding an auction to try to sell this thing, and the FDIC is planning to announce a decision on the sale of it. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but
Okay, so
it looks like
she's just getting.
things are
This is
very
her
up in the
today's.
air.
This is timestamped at 8:38 my time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably to buy time, putting lipstick on a peg. I've been saying that all week. So this is yesterday's. I think that was yesterday's or 2 days
This
ago.
was on the 23rd. It's saying that after rounds of bidding conclude and before markets reopen this Monday, the FDIC hopes to announce a winner of the bidding. A person familiar with the plan said the situation is fluid enough that announcement could simply entail a further extension of the bidding process, though the FDIC is aiming to wrap up the process in short order. Yeah, it does
bet
not look
that's
like
what
to be
you
going
said.
very well.
Ain't gonna
does
happen.
it?
I bet you see the extension.
This is
Yeah,
looking,
this
looking
is-
like
We
Evergrande
haven't
at this
quite
point.
figured it out yet.
They're putting a Band-Aid on everything. You know, I mean, you notice that this past week, you're looking at more of the market reports than I am, but I mean, it's like one stock might be down 20% and they're showing green in the background. And I'm thinking, come on, what are you doing? They're trying to, well, anyway, well, and weren't they doing something with federal, First Republic as well? And that kind of fell apart. So they have a lot of, excuse me, I'm getting a little out, but they have a lot of Band-Aid news right now and just buying time and prolonging the agony. The inevitable is about to happen. Okay, I'm done with my rant. I had to warn you. You weren't on, boss, but I have these special eye drops in my eyes. I just cut my bangs because my hair was getting in my way, and my coffee hasn't quite kicked in. So
Oh, I'd
so I'm
love to
not
see you when the coffee does kick in. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, when you don't see my face, I went to go get more coffee, and then yeah, zing. If you heard my
Yeah.
podcast yesterday, I really went off.
Uh, I have had, just to give you an idea, Marcel, I have had a phone call with Santa where she was off the wall. And
Brain, it took your
like
brain fuel.
yeah, with the brain fuel, exactly. Like I had sent her some natural energy supplements, which was my first mistake.
Oh
Because she
yeah.
was just like, and she must have covered 4,628 different topics in like 7 minutes. I couldn't even, it was unbelievable the amount of information. It was just like a stream of consciousness just
All in
flowing
5
out of
minutes.
her at an extreme rate. It was, that is why her mascot is Sammy the Squirrel, because literally that's who she is.
Yes.
And she'll just be like, yeah, and then Silver Squirrel, oh yeah, and she'll just go off onto other stuff. Yeah, Evergrande.
Yeah, let's talk about Evergrande. Oh,
Want
yeah.
to give a quick shout out and thank you to Grandpa Barney and MC in the chat. We appreciate your support here in the think tank. Good looking out, gentlemen. Appreciate you very much. But yeah, speaking of Evergrande, here's the tweet you sent yesterday, Santa Surfing. Let me say Evergrande was down 95.71% yesterday alone in a 1 day chart. That's hilarious. Yeah, it looks like they are falling apart. They are claiming that some of their offshore bondholders have agreed to a deal to kick back some of their debt for another 12 years, but they've still got several other groups of offshore bondholders with which to discuss, and it's not looking like it's going very well whatsoever. They have a massive crisis going on over there and an absolute crippling debt pile. Even Kaijin Global is saying that China's Evergrande restructuring plan shows a magnitude of its crippling debt pile. Uh, they have $191 billion worth of offshore bonds, and then even more onshore as well. So things are not looking good for them.
No, okay. So can I ask because Woody, when I am lost and I have like the deer with a headlight look on my face and I'm like, what
Yes.
does this mean, Woody? You explained this to me about how many corporations bought bonds, and I know your
Yeah,
viewers already know this, but my viewers are still like learning this. Um,
absolutely.
so can you explain a little bit about why Evergrande, a penny stock, was so big and powerful to,
Because
yes.
they were a multi they were a huge property development company in China, and to do that they had to raise money. And how do they raise money? They do what's called a bond, and basically they issue a bond, and and you basically you buy the bonds and you get a return on your bonds when the bond's complete. That's really the most basic way you can kind of explain it. So a lot of people bought these bonds, which basically is like investing into Evergrande. And of course, those bonds get traded. Those bonds get traded around almost like stocks. Those bonds get sent around. Some people use those bonds as collateral. And that's the big one we like to talk about. Because when you have, let's say you bought these bonds, you bought $10 billion worth of Evergrande bonds, and your return was supposed to be 2% in a year, or whatever the terms are. That part doesn't matter, but you have $10 billion worth of Evergrande bonds. So what if you're a hedge fund, or you're an investor, you can go to your brokerage and say, hey, I'm going to put up this $10 billion in bonds as collateral. Let me have some margin, which is basically margin is just like a credit card, basically, with your brokerage. So let me have margin and I'll use this as collateral. So you go in with your 10 billion, and then the brokerage says, okay, well, that's a pretty big amount. Let's give you, and I'm being very generous because the ratio is way far from this for some of these guys. But let's say the brokerage says, "Hey, we'll give you 5 to 1, ratio for your margin. So you put up to 10 billion, we'll let you buy or buy or short or whatever. We'll give you 50 billion in credit to trade stocks with through our brokerage. That's what a margin account is." So now, what happens if those bonds, that collateral that you're using at that 5 to 1 ratio, if those bonds become worthless, which Evergrande, when they finally go, they will become worthless. You now have to come up with 10 billion in new collateral to cover your margin, to cover your, the 50 billion that you borrowed. If you cannot, and usually it's very quick. They're like, hey, they call you at like 10 and they're like, hey, at 2:30 this afternoon, you could have 10 billion in your account or the equivalent to cover to cover this. If not, they start liquidating your account. They start closing out your short positions. They start selling your long positions. So any stocks you're holding, they sell. That'll cause a sell-off in the market too.
Okay.
See, Evergrande is kind of a linchpin in everything here because when it's a big domino. When Evergrande finally does go down, all these collateral, all the collateral that was used for the Evergrande bonds becomes instantly worthless, and everybody's going to be scrambling to find collateral. So they'll sell some of their shares. So what do most of these people who had Evergrande bonds, what do they have? They have Apple, they have Google, they have Amazon, they have big names, Netflix, all these big name stocks. So they're going to have to sell some of that because that's the other part. Right now, there's no friggin' cash anywhere.
Yep.
Liquidity is fucking gone,
Right.
and people are not giving up liquidity. And when I say there's different types of liquidity, but when I'm saying liquidity right now, I mean cash, and cash is hard to come by right now, capital, and people aren't giving it up. And if they do give it up, it's at exorbitant rates compared to what it was, and that's the problem. They're going to have to sell positions. They're going to have to close out of their short. And when they sell the positions, what's going to happen? It's gonna bring the market down even more in these big names, these blue chip type stocks, which is going to cause people to have even more margin calls. It's going to be an absolute cascade of madness, and that is why everybody's like, why do you keep talking about Evergrande? Well, that's exactly why, because once that fucker goes, look out. It's
Uh-huh.
crazy.
This I find interesting too, boss. This was posted in 2021 by you.
Yep. We have been
I mean, it
following
was
this
like,
for a long time. We've
yeah,
been following
I
this for
mean,
a long time. Evergrande has been kicking the can, on this situation for quite a long while, trying to maintain solvency. When they've been insolvent ever since, they've been committing bankruptcy fraud since that point. And I've discussed this several times with guys like Aaron and former Fitch ratings analyst Dr. Marco Metzler. We've had done about 5 interviews on the channel so far, and we're both in agreement that it's only a short matter of time before this collateral does come crashing down. But just like every white collar criminal, they're going to fight to maintain their standing and try to keep their bonds intact for as long as possible. So this is a long ongoing situation, and it's only like Aaron said, it's only a matter of time here before they actually do become insolvent. Are declared insolvent. The bankruptcy court case began on the 20th of this month. It was supposed to be last year, and of course that got kicked down the can. It finally started March 20th of this year, and they're currently going through a bankruptcy filing right now for liquidation. So they're trying to strike a last second deal with the offshore bondholders, but they've been trying to strike this deal for a year and a half now, with no success.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's going to happen. You continue to see
Who
the
the hell
Wall Street
wants it?
Journal and other media pressure and push and say that they're working on a deal and stuff like that. But like Dr. Marco Metzler's posts, show how much they're being sued for. They're sued for $13 billion in overdue payments. They were suspended from trading in March 21st of 2022, and then they restarted trading a few days ago. And what happened? They went down to 0.003 cents, and then or 8 cents, and then after that they went down to 0.0003 cents, dropping 95.71%. At which point their trading and their stock was halted again. Meanwhile, they finished the insolvency petition. But the second that this hits zero, or that they are declared insolvent via bankruptcy, like Aaron said, there's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars in bonds held by prime brokers worldwide, from Asia to Europe to America and everything in between, that will be completely worthless. Therefore, as ISDA, banks are currently allowing their members to use this as collateral with full historical value. That means if they bought it for $100 a bond, it's currently worth $100 a bond. When they go insolvent, that will now then be worth zero. So even at this moment, they're still using that collateral that helps them maintain their short positions on silver and gold and GameStop and AMC and all these other, stocks and equities and commodities. The moment that they're insolvent, it is going to cause a wave of collateral that gets wiped off the system between these ISDA banks that will no longer be usable. And then also other prime brokers, all of these prime brokerages will start to, margin call their family offices and short hedge funds and so on in order to recoup some of that money. And that's going to cause a further sell-off in stock markets, in real estate developers, you name it. So then you're going to see other people like Shimao and Country Garden, etc., also have their bonds become even more insolvent than they already are, to where they're already pushed into bankruptcy. It's just like going to be a giant wave of succession of dominoes, of going on, and this has been going on. You can see July 24th of last year, Evergrande CEO stepped down after being alleged of fraud, and they're filing criminal cases against them. S&P, dumped China Evergrande into selective defaults, and then Evergrande pulled out of the rating systems. So interest payments of 13 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion are just coming up left and right. And they failed August of last year. They failed to deliver the planned restructuring plan and so on. And it's just one thing after the next that they're trying to do here to save themselves, and it's not going to happen. In August we posted that bondholders are currently lost over $23 billion, on Evergrande, and they're still launching investigations, and they're currently in insolvency court.
That's just interest payments.
Yes,
let
sir.
me let me clarify that part. That's just the interest. That's not even the principal.
That's true. That's the scariest thing about it, right? It's just interest payments on them. And all of these real estate developers are connected. So when Evergrande does, if they are declared bankrupt and insolvent, which they are, but if it's actually declared by the courts, you're going to see a massive wave of sell-off in other real estate developers in China as well, leading to a further deterioration of the problem that we're seeing. You know what I mean?
Well, this is making a lot of sense now. So for the surfers, this is making a lot of sense because I try to explain it my own way. But like I said, in comparison to both of you, I'm truly a baby ape. But now I'm beginning to see about they're already talking about the housing crash. They're already talking about the stock market crash. It's going to be worse than 2008. But this is making sense. And you know what gets me? It was a penny stock, or not, it was a penny stock. So it was kind of like a shell company, penny stock. I don't know. It's kind of, and they're based in the Cayman Islands, but they have SEC filings, or at least they did. Okay, now that's making sense. I have another question though. These regulators, and don't they know that they're using fake money? I mean, worthless money or paper money, if you will.
Oh yeah.
ISDA doesn't care.
Yeah.
ISDA doesn't care. They don't have a choice. If ISDA were to just declare those bonds worthless right now, all of the ISDA members, which are the people who basically run ISDA, would be having major problems, and that's where the issues come into play. It's like They know that they're screwed, so they can't just value it at current value. They have to continue to value it at historical value to prevent themselves from losing a shitload of money and margin calling each other. You know, it's like the Spider-Man meme where everyone's pointing at each other. They're all like this, and
Oh, I can't wait till that goes public. When they all start to, sit in a hearing. No, he did it. No, he did it. No, he did it. Oh, it'll be great. That.
pretty much.
I'm gonna say right now that
Yeah.
the Friday afternoon / evening that they announce that, because they won't do it during the week and they won't do it at the beginning of the week. They'll do it so that that way it's the weekend after. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to tell you right now, you'll notice that they never announce big major bad market news until Friday after close.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
what the Friday after close that they announced that Evergrande finally is worth zero, I'm just gonna say we're gonna see a lot of people jumping out of buildings. I anticipate that happening. Again, I never wish harm on anyone. I'm just not that person. But
Uh-huh.
you're gonna see that happen. It's gonna be like a legitimate, like a suicide weekend when that happens.
I kind of think it's going to happen this week.
Yeah,
Um,
it feels like everything feels like it's getting ready to kind of wrap up here, because I mean, again, it's a giant Ponzi scheme.
yeah.
It's all okay. Your money is not real money, but we're going to use it and photocopy it to make more fake money to trade to this person, who is then going to photocopy it and send it off to 3 other people for more fake money, and event you can only do that shit for so long. Like
Right.
you can't do that shit forever, and that's it's all coming home to roost, and that's why you're seeing the banks fail, because again, I feel like I say this every time we get together, but for those of you listening who feel like nothing ever happens, the corruption is too great, we'll never beat them, I just want you to think about one thing right now. If they were in complete control, would banks be failing publicly? I'm just going to throw that one little piece. Just think about that, and understand that we're tearing the fucking corrupt system down. It is coming down, whether
Mhm.
they want to or not. And there's only so much they can do to kick the can, and we're applying immense pressure to them, and the shit is coming down. So just have faith in that, and watch and see, like things like this, like FTX, like Silver, SVB, and like that FRC is coming soon. I have a feeling that's next on the list.
Um,
First Rep Bank in San Francisco. I have a feeling that's got Credit Suisse. All of these banks having these major issues and going down. I'm just going to tell you right now, there's a reason that we're able to see all that. If they were in any kind of control at all, well, and they have a little bit, they can delay and postpone for a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, they're losing control, and every single entity like this that goes down, that Silvergate, the FRC, Credit Suisse, Citigroup was probably going to have some real serious issues here real soon. Every single one of those that goes down, they have less and less leverage and less ability to make this last longer. So we're getting close. We are really, really close. So have faith in that.
okay, and then Deutsche. Let's talk about the Jim Cramer inverse. the
Yeah, he did. He did. He just said yesterday that Deutsche Bank is doing good. Oh no, poor
was
what
great,
dope
wasn't
does
it?
the guy smoke? It's got to be laced with something really bad. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I need to go in the penalty box. I'm sorry. I need to go in the penalty box. um, no, I mean, okay, so there was a meme, or not a meme, there was a graph posted about, and then you had mentioned about it being a Ponzi scheme, Woody. And it was a Deutsche Bank in the middle, and there's all of this web of, I don't know if you have that, it's in Telegram, but there's this entire web of,
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab that.
yeah, and
Yes. Just a second.
how it will have a ripple effect all over the world, along with Evergrande. I mean, I appreciate your sharing and enlightening me on all of this. It's funny. I was looking at all the because I'm seeing this on this big screen right now, And when you were sharing this, I'm like, oh wow, Marco Metzer follows me, but he's following you. I'm just looking at my screen.
Here, let me just
I
share
think,
that thing
wow,
that
maybe
you
I'm
talked
not a
about
baby
real
ape.
quick.
Oh my God. I really thank you for inviting me to your show. I was really kind of surprised. I was like, really? They want me to come back? You guys are
Yes, of
so like
course. You're
in
awesome.
tune with everything. And you know what I also really, really enjoy about both of you too is that you are into how it ties into the geopolitical, you are apes and you're anons. So it's just a really nice combination because sometimes the apes are strictly the apes and they're not really anons, and then there's a combination of the two, and then tying it into what's going on.
I
Okay,
wouldn't
did you
necessarily
have that
say I'm
screen?
full blown anon, but I will say that the conspiracy theories are all too real. You know,
Mm,
I'll say that much. So
Yeah,
okay.
and I
we've
think a
been
lot
right
of
more
people,
often than not at this point.
I think a lot of people are in that in that range. That hey, wait a minute, all these conspiracy theories are starting to become true. Wait a minute, maybe there is, a the World Economic Forum is trying to control the whole world. Yeah, that's why it's called the World Economic Forum. That's why Klaus is an asshole. Like we know that.
Hmm.
But
Mm,
the tentacles are way further reaching than people think. I am sharing that. I don't know if you can see
no.
that picture that you were talking about, where Deutsche Bank pretty much is kind of the center of all this tangled web here that they're weaving.
I can't see
I'm
it.
not seeing it yet either, brother,
Okay,
for some reason.
hold on. Hmm, that's not sharing.
Oh,
Here.
and then all of
Hang
the
on.
entire revolution going on.
How
There we
about
There
now?
go.
we
It's
go.
coming up now. Oh, look
There
at
you go.
that. And the funny part is that the chairman of the board of Deutsche Bank is named Axel Deutschskam. That's his real
No
last name.
way.
His real last name is Deutschskam. That's
Well,
crazy, isn't it?
and see the coincidences are crazy. Okay, because now I got to look this up. Uh, Credit Suisse.
Oh yeah,
There,
the guy's name
Penny's.
is
The
Lehman.
chairman, his name is Lehman.
Uh, uh-huh. Oh my gosh.
Not
Uh, uh,
not one of the brothers, but what are the fucking odds? I mean,
it's not there is no coincidence about all of this, and then well, and then how a lot of them use fake names too. But Deutsche scam, can you imagine? Yes, can you please bank with Deutsche scam bank, please? Oh my gosh. Now all of this, now this is probably just a small, this is actually Pappy Kabbalah gave this to me, but um the ripple effects worldwide, it's going to like it's going to crash very hard, and we're not quite at hyperdrive, I've been told, but I think we're just like, if not hours or days away. I think Trump's rally
It's
is
the
going to
beginning
send a
of
lot of
the
comms.
end.
Absolutely, it really is. And
yeah,
if you might want to connect with your local conspiracy theorist friend because there's going to be a lot of stuff that will happen that will maybe not make sense, and you might want to just ask them a question. And I've been asked to put something together so that it can help reach out to people that are still asleep. And I said, no, I don't want to do it. But I got to do it.
yeah.
So,
There's a lot, and we're just that's the other part. I mean, all the stuff that's coming out. I, again, it, what have we learned? Even if you're just strictly like an AMCA, what have we learned about the mainstream media? What have we learned about the government when they're coming out and admitting fault to something or saying something bad? What are
mm,
they distracting you from?
mm,
There's bigger shit going on right now. If they're letting us see the banks, that for, number one, that means they're losing control because they have to show us that the banks are failing and they're
uh-huh.
letting the banks fail. But what are they fucking distracting us from? I'm just gonna say I think the next distraction. I'm gonna call this now. So
Hey,
timestamp or screen. I don't know if you can't screenshot my voice, but audio shot voice. Um, the next big distraction is going to be an alien something. I'm just calling it. I think that's the next one that comes out. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, there's fucking aliens." Oh, who knew? Like,
Yeah.
that's the next thing to come out, because that'll really keep people distracted about some of the other bullshit that's going on in the background.
Okay, okay, this is where I'm gonna wear my tinfoil hat. Um, they're 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 going to package it as bad. There is a tremendous amount of sophisticated help we're getting, but they are going to package it as being bad. In New York Post even put something out already today about that. I don't know how to share screen, so I'm not sharing it, but I can drop it in the DMs about exactly that. And it's just that the system is so sophisticated. I don't talk to just my locals family. I talk about this, and we actually have Zoom calls, and we talk about stuff like this, and it's really great interaction that we have on it. But let me just get that New York Post. Here we go. It is. I'm going to drop this link in where we chat, and if somebody could be so kind to share it. But they're going to start sharing. They're going to start you know denouncing some good stuff. There's a lot of technology that's been hidden from us, and we have not been able to have access to it. And that's what created a lot of the poverty, the technology that we're not getting. It's really heartbreaking, and anyway, it's supposed to be really, really great. And then I also heard that pricing is going to go back to an early phase, so it's going to be really, really powerful. But here you go. Time traveler claims hostile aliens are coming to take back Earth.
They're desensitizing us. That's what they're doing. Because think about this now. They're getting us ready to use that as their distraction. I'm telling you right now, because about a year ago, remember there was the whole, they declassified the UFOs, and you know what I mean? Like, they declassified all the paperwork and all that, and it's been on the news. They've talked about it, and now see the New York Post is coming out with it, and they've had articles in CNN and like all the mainstream media has had articles about UFOs. I think they even did a 60 Minutes thing about UFOs. I'm just telling you that is probably going to be the next big distraction or tool that they use to keep people's minds off of shit, or to usher in. I mean, and they may even use it to try and usher in, more controls over us, like they did with COVID.
Mm.
So who knows what they'll use that for? But I'm just saying that's probably the next one. I
Mm-hmm.
doubt that one bit.
And you're usually right, Woody. Sometimes I'm like, man, I don't want, and then like a couple days later, it's like, I have humble pie. I'm so sorry.
I am not an oracle. I just kind of I view things in a logical sense, and it just makes sense that they would use this to distract. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's actually happening or not, who the fuck knows? But I know that they would use this. They absolutely would.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
And
But
here's
you're
what they're
absolutely right
trying
about
to
the
distract
distraction.
from. Treasury gremlin Janet Yellen gets destroyed by Senator Kennedy when grilled for calling ballooning U.S. debt sustainable. Check this out. Can you guys hear this?
So $51 trillion of
I
debt
love him.
up from 33 trillion doesn't bother you.
I think the path that is set out in the president's budget is fiscally sustainable.
Okay. Well, how much debt is too much? Tell me that.
Well, I just gave you the metric that I think is best for assessing fiscal sustainability.
Okay. Let me ask it in simpler terms. I didn't follow you there.
It's
What percentage of our GDP? What debt as a percentage of our GDP is too much?
so it depends on what interest rates are. And real interest rates have been extremely low. This budget and previous budgets have projected that they would move up toward more normal levels over time, but certainly not the levels that we saw several decades ago. And
Good Lord.
Could you
We
just
can't
answer my
judge.
question, Madam Secretary? What
Girl
percentage
is out of control.
Oh my God.
what percentage?
Spit it
of
out,
our
Yellen.
of
Look at her
our-
Spit it out.
stammer.
of
Yeah,
our
look at her.
GDP
She's
is too
struggling.
much.
Oh,
well, this budget has debt held by the public moving up to around 109% of GDP.
And that's not too much, in your opinion.
This is
Historically, it's a
funny.
high level, but on the other hand, interest rates, real interest rates, have moved down substantially in recent decades. And so higher levels of debt to GDP are sustainable with lower real interest rates. And on balance, as I said, the interest burden of the debt is at a level that is quite reasonable in historic terms.
Madam Secretary, you're a Keynesian.
Well, I don't quite know what you mean by that, but I've certainly
Well,
studied.
do you
Keynesian.
believe?
Oh,
So fif-
shit.
And
Yeah,
by
and
the
this
way,
woman- this
anybody
woman-
that has not watched Senator Kennedy, take some time, go to YouTube, and just like look up Senator Kennedy funniest. Like just he fucking destroys people. Like he literally destroys. He is a fucking riot, but he gets the point across too.
Uh-huh.
That's the other part. Like he take some time and watch just Senator Kennedy YouTube funniest. Like and just watch some of those. You will die laughing, guys.
Like, and so this is a woman. She is gets paid millions to do these speeches at the banks. I mean, come on. And she's like, it's like, come on. It was really hard. I have to say though, boss, it was really hard watching her speak. I mean, going through just that little segment with Senator Kennedy. I was like, I'd rather put needles in my eyes. It was like so painful. I thought, oh my gosh, come on, just get it out. She was really having a hard time, just even
I
verifying.
don't know if you knew this, Santa, but Marcel, that's his side piece. That's his.
That's my ex-girlfriend.
That's
Old
his chick
Yeller.
on the side.
Old Yeller's her snuggle nickname. We broke up because she's a lying bitch and she's been lying to the American people for the last several years, so I couldn't deal with it anymore.
Oh, okay. Old Yeller.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think it just seems like the whole government, everything's going to happen pretty quick. Somebody did say, watch the water, and in quotes, liquidity. So it's tying into what you are all talking about. I didn't have a whole lot to share other than that quantum financial system is active this week. Hi, baby. Oh, how old?
She's on the other side of the room, or on the other side of the door, banging on it. So,
Oh, is she?
yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
She's like, come on, Dad, it's playtime. How cute. Okay. So Quantum Financial is active. It has been active this week. They are actually testing it in different parts of the world right now. It shouldn't take long, like days, because they've gone through the beta testing for the last 3 years. So, which is really great, because I actually thought all of this was supposed to roll out the end of 2020, and I've had to make a lot of corrections. and now I'm learning and understanding why it had to wait this long. But so when that happens, it's going to be, and to just caution your audience is that anybody who's saying, hey, enter your information here for your quantum funds or any of that, they are not going to do that. They're going to have you go to a redemption center or a quantum bank.
Because you just said that, I Googled QFS active, and the first thing that pops up is the Federal Reserve Board recent postings from the meeting they had on March 12th, followed by
What?
the International Monetary Fund from February 9th of last year. But yeah, it was March 12th of last year. That's the first thing that popped up when I typed in QFS active, just to show you guys real quick. Just check that out. Federal Reserve Board recent postings. It's the first thing that pops up when I Googled it, followed by the IMF talking about it last year, working on their 3 active CBDC projects in Bahamas, China, and the Eastern Caribbean.
Oh yeah, a little bit about CBDC. That's failing.
Fucking real.
CBDC is. I did get some information on that. It's failing. It looks like it's just going to crash in the coming days.
I think most people know what the fuck a CBDC is. That's a social credit score. We're going to limit your ability to use your own damn money. kind of bullshit, and I think people see that for what it is. And matter of fact, what was it? Christy Noem like signed a bill that said it's illegal to have a CBDC in their state.
Good for her.
I think it was Christy Noem. I know that a couple of governors have done some stuff about that already. So, yeah, it's just there's no way that's you can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't have that. That's
No. So AMC squeeze is trending right now. Is this an active
That's
buy, or was that yesterday's? What you're showing right now, Aaron?
This is a live screenshot, but this post I put up yesterday, I just want to show you how the manipulation is real. Like people are like, oh no, anybody that says AMC is just bad, they're full of shit. Here's basically
They're
this
uneducated.
is manipulation. Yesterday, AMC, I'm going to bring this up, finished exactly at 0.000 change. So in other words, the stock price was exactly the same.
2 days in a row with millions in volume, tens of millions in volume for 2 days straight, and the stock
Not
price
only that,
on the 23rd and the 24th ended at exactly the same.
the ape shares did the exact same thing. 0.00. There is no way. Like the odds of that happening are monumental. They are absolutely fucking staggering. Like
Astronomical.
you hardly ever see 0.00. And not only did it happen in the regular trading, but an AMC like bumped a penny right at the end, and that's just because they fucked up. But literally, like at 7:50, like 10 minutes before the end, right there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
March 23rd and March 24th, both AMC and APE, AMC's preferred equity stock, ended the day at both respectively $4.47 and $1.45, 2 days in a row. The odds of this happening are beyond astronomical. They are almost infinite impossibility for it to happen organically. I even asked ChatGPT, what are the odds of this happening? And it said that based on the potential of a stock price being anything, the potential, the statistical probability of this happening are nearly zero, because there's an infinite number of possible stock prices, especially for two related stocks like AMC and AMC's preferred equity.
They're just packaging it so that it looks unattractive.
It has to be computer driven. Like you have to see that and be like, there's no way that people trading this or institutions trading this, like, made both of them go exactly at zero at close, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then exactly at zero at 8 p.m. in the after hours. There's just no way
that does not happen. I've never in my life seen that happen. I've been trading since I was 18. I'm 37. I've never fucking seen that happen in my life, let alone to two related stocks.
Right. I mean, you barely see. I mean, it happens. I've seen it maybe a few times since I've been trading that a stock has a 0.00, but usually in the after hours that changes. Like they get a couple pennies or lose a few or more or less or whatever. But
Right.
to see those kind of zeros like that, for a change in a stock price for both of them, and they're related, there is no way it's organic. There's no way.
And why isn't Jim Cramer commenting on that? No, I'm just. So whatever the news isn't talking about, I look into. If they're not talking about silver, gold, AMC, APE, any of that, I look into that stuff. I look and read your threads, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go check it out, because I think that's we know that's what they're going to be doing, is they're going to be throwing a lot of spaghetti on the wall news. Okay, what's this that we're looking at right now?
This is asking ChatGPT that exact thing. And it said, assuming that the closing price of a stock can take any possible value and the probability of each possible value is equal, the probability of a stock closing at the same price on 2 consecutive days is 1 in the total number of possible closing prices, which is any possible value. basically telling us that it's almost an infinite impossibility for this to occur, let alone that's on one stock, let alone on two stocks, particularly when they've got tens of millions of shares traded in each respective day for each stock.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got to go and start retweeting some of this stuff that you're putting out.
Well, do you
And,
think
and
it could be this? Hold on. Do you think it could be this bullshit fucking?
oh, look at that! Come on.
Does this look natural to you?
Yep,
Anyone?
yep,
Anyone?
yep.
Oh, but they got
Bueller?
colors in there.
Bueller?
Oh,
Yep,
no.
I was
Oh,
consistently
my
buying at 447 and selling at 448. That was all me.
No,
Yep.
that's
Mhm.
ridiculous. Oh, come
That
on.
was
What
for
is
4 hours.
now? What they
Friday
think they are?
afternoon.
But
4
just
p.m.
because
to 8 p.m.
there's but
Literally fucking barcode.
man, let
And
me just.
here's ape. Not much better. I mean, that's literally like if I took one of those guns from the supermarket and hit that, it'd probably come up as peaches or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is not natural. This doesn't happen naturally. It doesn't.
Yeah. No.
This is not natural movement. It
Okay.
just no way. That's the algos. That's the computers trading between themselves. That's what it is.
That's so ridiculous. Oh my gosh, what do they think? I mean, come on, just because we eat crayons doesn't mean we're stupid, you know. So I have a really hard time with that. Now, from a reporter's point of view, because I put up screenshots in many of your posts, I look at that and I say, okay, immediately they're trying to deceive the retail investors that are not educated. And they're going to say the retail investor is going to say, "Oh, it's at 0.00. It hasn't gone up. I don't think I'm going to buy." And they've been pulling all that kind of stuff on us for a while now. But
Speaking,
and now I find it comical. I have, the post I post here. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you, Woody. The post I like to post. My shows. They're a little. I've had to be wacky, guys. For those of you that don't know about my shows, I've had to be wacky because the news
She
is
delivers really bad news, but makes you happy about it.
which is fantastic. That's why I love your show, Santa. I was watching you yesterday, and my jaw dropped when I heard that Biden was going to increase taxes by $4.7 trillion. Unfucking real.
Okay.
This piece of shit is going to raise our taxes by almost $5 trillion while, giving hundreds of billions to Ukraine for their little money laundering operation and bio laboratories over there. That is absolutely pathetic.
I just have to, and it was Yellenhead that reported that. So it was like, oh my gosh, she was like trying to spit it out again. Can somebody share this? See, this is the kind of news I like to report. It's what the apes do. 2 years ago, Ken Griffin got a delivery from an ape. Did you see this? I know you guys are sharing a lot of important stuff.
Hold on.
The bananas. Right? The bananas?
Oh my gosh, this is Pappy Cavallo. This is when I found Pappy Cavallo, and he shared this. He goes, "Hey Santa," he goes, "check this out." I rolled for hours looking at this. So there was an ape that wanted to send Ken Griffin a nice little gift.
They sent him 20 bananas.
Yep. I love that.
That's fucking
I love
awesome.
that so much.
Headquarters, and it's like, okay, there you go. That's the kind. So that's how I kind of, we have bad news, but this is what you can laugh with or at, and then how you were talking about the last time we had a podcast is that how he bought a big old home, but he probably needs to sell that because he needs to cover his losses. Okay.
Well,
Back
no,
to some-
he's going to keep that because he can go through bankruptcy, and because that home is in Florida, he's not going to lose that home. So that's how he has his money for after he gets taken out.
Speaking
Wow,
of
but-
AMC,
I'm just saying that's the only reason. Like he bought that $100 million place in Florida because the bankruptcy laws there would allow him to keep that home through the bankruptcy and not have to liquidate it. And then that way, after everything else comes crashing down, then he can sell that home, even at a discount, and he's still got a nice chunk of change. That's why he bought that place. I guarantee it.
Horrible.
I want to
Just-
let you guys know that since we're on the subject of AMC, recently For those people that are unaware, Adam Aaron, the chief executive officer of AMC Theaters, has applied for a name change and a QSIP number change for AMC and APE. So a lot of people were unaware of this. They think that AMC is only applying for a QSIP number change, but that's incorrect. They're applying for there's already been a proposal that has passed that was voted overwhelmingly for the proposal by shareholders for a conversion of AMC APE, which was about 89% voted yes. And for APE to AMC, so the AMC preferred equity would be converted to the AMC common stock. They were also voted around 88% yes for reverse split of AMC 1 to 10. It's a 1 to 10 reverse split. But when you factor in those people that already had APE shares from when the split originally occurred to make APE to issue APE, those people will basically be seeing a 1 to 5 because APE will be converted back into AMC, and as long as they didn't sell their APE shares, it'll be more like a 1 to 5 if they hadn't purchased more. If they were smart and they purchased more, then it would be actually less. It would be more like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, you know, because for example, like certain people like myself, I have like double or almost triple the amount of APE shares that I have of AMC, so I'll actually be receiving more AMC shares. So the reverse split for me would be actually significantly less. It would be almost like a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3 reverse split. In addition, they are also going to be selling shares on the market. AMC is what I'm talking about. So after the conversion, after the reverse split, AMC will be diluting the company by selling shares in order to pay off their debt. And the last 2 times this happened was January of 2021 when AMC ran up about 2,000%, and May and June of 2021 when AMC ran up to all-time highs of $77 a share. In addition, Adam Aaron has submitted to the Securities Exchange Commission for a QSIP number and a name change. And this just happened a few days ago on March 22nd. A SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company by the name of Zura, made a merger. And via the merger with JAT, J-A-T-T acquisition, they did a name change and a QSIP number change. The stock hit a new all-time high on that day of $30, from 50 cents to $30.
Wow.
That was a 314% run.
Wow.
I'm seeing some negativity out there in people that are so ignorant as to think, well, oh, 300% is nothing. 300% is in one fucking day. Are you kidding me? Like, that's absolutely massive for any stock.
Well, and I think it should be noted that who the fuck knows what a Zura or a JAT is?
Exactly.
I totally didn't.
Who's holding this fucking stock? You know?
But 4+ million people know what the fucking AMC is, and way more than that. So I'm just going to say, that if that's what can happen with a stock where we don't own the fucking float over several times and we're not active and pushing our love for the stock and buying the popcorn and going to the movies and doing all that shit, like, if that can happen with them, like the 300, that to me, that's a low bar for one day.
And it was also a business combination between JAT and Zura. And you know who else specializes in business combinations? Antera Capital. Antera Capital was the company that purchased hundreds of thousands of shares of APE, AMC preferred equity, and held them until after the vote. They sold off some of their APE shares for around a 350% gain because they're licking their ice cream. Nobody ever went broke by taking profits, but they're still holding hundreds of thousands of APE shares. Those APE shares will be converted to AMC, especially since there is a court case currently against AMC trying to block this that was issued by a BlackRock ETF that holds less than 0.1% of AMC in that ETF.
Nuisance lawsuit.
It's a nuisance lawsuit, and the AMC is currently trying to get it dismissed without prejudice. The court date is on April 27th, and that was strictly done by BlackRock, in my humble opinion, in order to try to prevent this or delay the QSIP number and name change for as long as possible, because they saw and knew that retail was voting yes for the proposals, which they did by an overwhelming 89%. So the judge is going to see it and say, okay, so you're trying to say shareholders are not approving of this conversion reverse split. That was obviously proven wrong by millions of people that voted overwhelmingly 89% yes. Get this fucking case out of my courtroom, dismissed with prejudice. AMC can continue with their APE to AMC conversion, reverse split, and dilution. The stock price will possibly shoot up hundreds, if not thousands of percent. And then when AMC sells off shares, just like they did in January and June of 2021, the stock price will run up probably thousands percent more. It's really simple.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, you're saying in April 27th is the court date?
Exactly.
That-
Yep. April
that-
27th is the date that the judge will decide on this.
That's actually very interesting, the timing of it all.
Isn't it?
Boy, I wonder. Yeah, it really is. I mean, because there's going to be so much happening between, well, it already is happening, but I think we know publicly between, well, the day of the rally, which would be today, and up through the month of, next week. I really do think next week, guys, we are going to have to really buckle up, and I hope a lot of people that are going to be weeping, and a lot of people I'm noticing too, because I was telling Aaron, I said, hey, watch out, the trolls are going to start coming into our threads here. And he was like, well, what else is new? But the trolls, I think, are the ones that are coming from some of these hedge funds, or maybe they are Ken Griffin's, underlings, and they don't really like what's going on and happening. And so and remember, you have to think about it with the Twitter files. I'm going a little squirrel, but with the Twitter files, we had the FBI, the NSA, and the CIA that was censoring us. It wasn't Twitter. They weren't that smart. But it was, so, I mean, if you've got that, then these big hedgies, they're doing the same thing. Oh, here, I'll give you, $1,000 if you go ahead and censor Boss Blunts. Make sure it doesn't get out there. Any way they can. I think it's going to be interesting. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be watching that court date.
The way the fucking FBI weaponized Twitter and social media and Facebook, it was a huge overreach by the Democratic Party and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that is absolutely criminal. You are completely right.
It is very criminal, and all of the stuff that's going on with, like, you even were talking about the ISDA banks. They don't really care. This is all, and this is what Michelle, I can't remember, is it Lee or Yee? She's with Squawk Box. She was talking about all of this being financial treason. So all the activity, the naked shorting, all the activity that they're doing right now, putting lipstick on a pig, giving the Evergrande CPR. It's like, come on. I am going to say this. I can't wait until the next few weeks, because then we'll have normal news. Then we won't be looking at stuff that it's disguised, because they're really packaging a lot of the stuff. Like, the charts you're sharing, the reports you're sharing, it seems like it's just all nice little gift wrapping, but inside it's a bunch of rocks. And maybe there was a message behind all of that with the rocks. See, my hair's in my way again.
Speaking of naked shorting,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, I know Santa, but I'm not sure if Marcel, you know who Robert David Steele is. He's passed on now.
Yes, the
Maybe.
Former CIA agent or FBI agent,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I have a short video I'd like to share.
Yeah, please do. That guy was a genius.
Where he is talking specifically about naked short selling. So hold on. Share screen.
Yeah, he talks about American depository receipts and naked short selling, and he really spills the beans, doesn't he? Straight from the CIA, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah, man.
Former CIA.
That was insane.
And it's interesting how
And for those people that don't know, they killed him. This guy's no longer alive, sadly.
It's such a it's actually very heartbreaking. Okay, this is really good.
We have it all. All of the illicit wealth in the world has been tracked by the National Security Agency for the past 15 years. We now know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Wall Street has stolen $100 trillion from Main Street with naked short selling. We also know that Wall Street has laundered $100 trillion in dirty money from trafficking in children and women and drugs and guns and gold. I can never tire of saying that 90% of the people in the U.S. government, the U.S. military, the U.S. intelligence community are good people trapped in a bad system. The secret intelligence community serves the deep state. It does not serve the American public. And CIA in particular has been doing torture, rendition and torture, drone assassination, regime change, helping to start wars based on lies, all because war and trafficking in humans and drugs and so forth are a profit center for Wall Street and the deep state. And once the president gets Benny into NSA and processes 100% of what we have at NSA, we have every single one of you by the balls. You cannot survive this. You have one out. The Truth and Reconciliation out is make the deal, motherfucker, or you are going to die.
Make the deal, motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
I just that video has always made me wonder where that information is currently, and especially with everything that's going on now, I feel that his mission is still continuing.
I do too. I actually do. And yes, there may have been threats on his life, but I have my own thoughts. And again, I kind of wear a big tinfoil hat at times, but I honestly think he's in a safe place. And they had to give the narrative of that. But again, I could be wrong. You decide.
I hope
Yeah.
so. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I dropped and then how he's talking about, now this is before news like this started coming out. Do you mind somebody sharing? I put it where we put our messages, about this kind of news is starting to come out now, and it's actually pinpointing Jamie Dimon for knowing about sex trafficking. And even though his, yeah,
and stuff, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, you would never see this kind of news before, but it's headlines like this where, and in as much it was the lawyer that's going after Jamie Dimon saying that his lawyer didn't dispute it. So more and more of this, and they've been getting away with money laundering for years and years and years, and now they're now getting caught and stuck, and they've got 3 lawsuits. Jamie Dimon has 3, and then or J.P. Morgan, and then Jamie Dimon, and then Deutsche has 2 lawsuits, all pertaining to the their knowing about Epstein and his sex trafficking. So it goes back to what David Steele is talking about, and how they were involved with this. I also
all intertwined.
It's all of this
Everything.
trafficking, the cartel, everything. These big banks were,
Everything leads to everything.
man, they should have they were the bank of laundromats. They were just laundering their money like crazy. And then now you have to wonder too, okay, so when did they stop laundering money for these big banks, or these cartels, these dirty organizations,
They
these
haven't stopped.
well, when did they stop? Because they're now really going broke. I mean, they have no way out. And they probably thought that bumblehead Biden, sorry if you're a Biden supporter, but I think he's a bumblehead. They probably think that bumblehead Biden was going to give him a bailout because, he's supporting Ukraine. It's like, oh, they can support us. But now they're learning, no, it's not working like that. It's operating operating very differently, and we're not getting any help. So I think more of this kind of stuff is going to start coming out. From what I also understand is that there's
Well,
going to be
there's a
a lot
reason
of...
we're hearing. Now look at this. CNBC.
Yep.
There's
like
a
the-
reason we're hearing about this. Like we're getting slowly. The information is coming out. The information everybody wants to really know in regard. Nobody gives a fuck about Jamie Dimon. I'm going to tell you right now. Nobody cares. He's a bank CEO. Nobody gives a shit about him. What we really want to know is who's on the fucking list. Who is on that damn list?
Yeah.
Like, how do you traffic children to people and get convicted of it? And literally the people on that list, like not a single one of them gets indicted, like nothing.
Yeah.
That's coming. I'm telling you, that's coming, and that's the part that really matters. Those fuckers on that list need to go.
It has to come out. It really does. And then the news is also suppressing that Ashley Biden diary is legitimate, but they're not talking about that. So, and I don't want to go through that today on this podcast because that would be another.
Yeah, we'll be here till like fucking 9 p.m. if we start getting into these rabbit holes. So
Well, yeah, it's going to get really ugly. But this is really helpful for people to understand how, this is the core foundation of the criminal enterprise, and it's collapsing right now. And they're going to be in a world of hurt, and I'm glad that you guys are out there helping the apes along. I just really kind of ride your coattails. I don't.
We're happy to have you. You've got your own specialty amongst yourself, so we really appreciate it. I was watching your show just yesterday night, and you bring up some really great information, like Biden's brand new $4.7 trillion tax on the American people. And some people try to claim that it's a billionaire tax. It's a billionaire tax. Yeah, bullshit. How often have you seen taxes and tariffs not affect the lower class and the middle class. It happens every fucking time. Everything just
Yep.
just rolls downhill.
Well, that's it. It's just because a tax, and this is the part that people like miss out on, and this is the part that the news never talks about and the government never talks about. If you tax corporations and the rich, guess what? That shit gets passed down to everybody else.
Mhm.
So like there is no like it's an indirect tax on everybody. Like, oh yeah, you won't see any effect if you're under 400,000. That's a fucking bullshit lie. It's just straight lies.
Exactly.
And I don't know who's running that POTUS account or the White House account or whatever on Twitter, but they've gotten their shit fact checked hard lately, and honestly, I'm loving to see it. Like the community know it's popping up on there, and it's a different tune. I think people are sick of the lies. You're still going to see the cheerleaders in there. Oh my God, Biden's the best president ever. That's not a real person. There cannot be that many real people that are actually believing that. Like I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It can't be. It really can't be. And Lord help us if it is. There you go.
For the people that haven't heard
Isn't
it.
it a fact that the president's proposed budget proposes $4.7 trillion in new taxes?
It does propose significant additional taxes, yes.
4.7 trillion?
Something like that, yes.
And that's why we
Okay.
broke up.
Isn't it a fact?
Yeah, I was gonna say, no wonder you left her. Holy shit!
Thank goodness.
If you
Oh.
want steak or chicken tonight, well, something like that.
Jesus.
It is or it isn't. Yelling head, come on, wake up. But yeah, she's doing. And then she had she had an emergency meeting yesterday, right? With
With everybody. With everybody. The OCC, the
They're
SEC,
trying to get the
the
shit back in the horse, as
FDIC.
you say.
the OCC was a part of that.
Everybody. All
Oh,
of
you
the
s-
major market players were a part of that. Yeah, everybody related to banking and credit unions and stock market was at that meeting. And it was a
No.
closed door meeting, an emergency meeting that was not announced, and none of the public was allowed to join. And you know what they found after that?
What?
They found that they've investigated themselves and the banks are doing just fine.
No way. That was the outcome.
Yes, that's what
Oh,
they told
no.
people.
Oh my gosh, I was trying
Yeah,
to
the
find
banks are
it.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the economy is great, and that's because of Biden. Like Biden loves saying that. But boy, what a healthy. No, that Jean Pierre or whatever, the
Ugh.
secretary. She loves coming. Our economy is booming because of this administration, and I'm thinking to myself, people actually fucking believe that shit. I can't even believe that people believe it. Like
Uh-uh.
it just goes to show you the like when you own the media and you can brainwash and control the narrative like that it's amazing what people will actually latch onto. And really the thing is there's a whole lot of and some of you may not have heard of this phrase before because it's cognitive dissonance. And what that is when you have a belief in your head, like if you honestly got brainwashed into believing like the economy is great and Joe Biden's a fantastic president, if you actually are brainwashed into that, any evidence to the contrary of that, you will just reject out of hand. Your brain is not allowing you to accept information contrary to your belief. Cognitive dissonance. And that is something that we're fighting right now, and it's not just the political stuff. It's also in every other aspect of markets and everything else. There's a whole lot of cognitive dissonance going around, and it's
Big
a battle.
time. Big time. I just noticed you have Bob Wallace who has a question. I didn't know if you wanted to take questions right now. Aaron.
I'm looking. There's a lot of people in here. Wow. I don't see any hands up here.
I see Bob Wallace has his hand up. I see the little thing going like this.
Where are you, Bob? I'm scrolling through right now. Hold on. Don't see
I'm gonna see if
my list.
As my friend Wolfie likes to say, we want change.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's
We
time
do.
for change.
We need it, and it's got to be for we the people. It's like we
Yep.
can't. You had mentioned something on a couple of podcasts where you had said that retail investors really don't have an opportunity to invest in after hours, and that seems to be where a lot of action's been going on. And I mean, the kind of changes where and the naked shorting, how illegal that is, just to do think let us be a part of what those guys get to do, and or just have them not do those bad things. There has to be a big change going on, and I really can't wait until Trump returns. I really can't. I mean,
We
he's.
need a lot of change, that's for sure.
I think.
I
I
do
think
have a
he's.
couple of hands up. Let's get a couple of questions in before everybody's got to take off here. So let's start with I got two hands, and we'll get to these two people,
Okay.
Jeff and then Cheryl. So hold on here, Jeff. You're live and on the air with Santa, Boss, and Aaron. How are you this fine feathered evening, afternoon, Saturday?
Oh, great. Hey,
Hey,
hear me?
yes, we can. I can. Can you, Marcel and Santa?
Marcel.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
What's up, Jeff?
Hey, couple of questions. Number one, why are we not the hell celebrating the downfall of Credit Suisse? Was it not a too large to fail kind of a CFA bank or CFI bank? And he blamed us for taking them down. Isn't this not a big victory?
Yeah, I'd say it's a huge victory. It's just one of many. Like we were saying earlier, this is the beginning of the end with FTX, SVB, Terra Luna, all these other cryptocurrency exchanges and brokers, and now prime brokers. Everything is going according to plan, if you will, but things are looking exactly the way they should be. Everything is right on track for the collapse of the global financial system. At least it's not going to be like a full-blown collapse, but we need a massive reform here. And the only way that's ever going to happen is for these banks and prime brokers and everybody to basically get in a position that they're in now, in which they're starting to become insolvent and need an actual government bailout. Then after this all happens, after we have a real squeeze and a real collapse of the system, then maybe we'll start seeing some reforms, because what happened with Dodd-Frank and all these other regulations was just an absolute joke. It was a can kick. It was a band-aid on the greater problem. So yes, people, in my opinion, should be celebrating as long as they were smart enough to hedge themselves properly and not keep all their eggs in one basket. For example, so many people had all of their money, like Roku, for example, the corporation had all of their $400 million in Silicon Valley Bank, and then they were out there begging the government for a bailout. And luckily for them, they got it, but not everyone's going to be so lucky, and a lot of these banks are going to get swallowed up by others, like Credit Suisse with UBS and such. And what that leads us to is the fact that UBS, as a conservative investor, is a more conservative investor than Credit Suisse. They're going to be closing out a lot of short positions of Credit Suisse's basically majorly over
Did they
leveraged
spit the hook on that one?
positions. Yeah, and so a lot of people, even in, like, for example, on GameStop, on earnings, it went up around 52% at the height of the after hours market, which prevented retail from buying call contracts and put contracts and such on GameStop itself. That is one way in which they control the narrative. And by using good earnings for GameStop as a cover up, they closed out a lot of positions, probably UBS closing out Credit Suisse positions and some of their toxic derivatives and swaps that they held against the GameStop and AMC ETFs and such, led the stock price to go up. But how many times have you seen meme stocks go down on a fantastic earnings report? Because it happens more often than not. But yes, people should be very happy about what's going on if they've been following the situation for a while, because it's exactly what we've been expecting.
Yeah, and don't you find it interesting that Newsom, Governor Newsom of California, had his money in one of those banks, and he
Yes.
was lobbying for the
Silicon Valley.
bailouts. He was lobbying for the bailouts. Yeah, I wonder why. Because you had your money in there, you fucking.
What's
So
up,
the one
Santa?
thing they're saying it's not a bailout, but they devised this intricate plan called the the BTFP. Um, how is that not a bailout? So I don't,
It is.
Marcel, if you can.
It
It's-
is. This is what they do. They always say it's not what it is. Like, and everybody sticks to that same story. So then people actually believe, oh no, it's not a bailout because Yellen said so. No, it's a fucking bailout. Is what it is. Are they giving money to the banks that the banks like irresponsibly lost? Yeah, that's a fucking bailout. That's what it is. Where does the money come from? Us taxpayers. Weird.
Mhm.
Who knew? It's a fucking bailout.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, that's. They can say that all they want. Oh, it's not a bailout. No, it's absolutely a fucking bailout. Just cut the shit with that. That's stupid.
Santa?
That is so dumb.
But that's just it, though. You see, Woody's, they didn't tell us that it was coming from taxpayers. They didn't even mention that.
Where does the government get all their money?
Well, hello. Yeah, local printing machines are us.
They're trying to say, like you said, Santa, they're claiming that it's not a bailout because it's quote unquote coming from the Financial Stability Fund. But the Financial Stability Fund is backstopped by the United States Treasury, which means the money comes directly from taxpayers. So they added a third party middleman in there in order to make it seem like it's not coming from the taxpayers, but it is.
And may I add to Jeff's, because I loved your answer, boss, about that. But I think it might be a celebration of many banks collapsing at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think because I was looking for the party too, Jeff. I was like, man, who's celebrating? I was ready to do dance, put my hippie clothes on, go smoke a cigar.
We're just
And,
getting started.
we are,
The best
we are.
is yet to come.
Yeah,
It
it
absolutely
absolutely is. Yeah.
It's just like in
All right,
every
we
crash
got
previously.
Cheryl and then Bob Wallace. I finally see him now. So we'll get
Uh-huh.
Cheryl here real quick. She's patient. All the blood is drained from her fingertips. She's had her hand up, I think, since we started. Cheryl, how are you? She's looking for the mute button currently. She is currently muted, speaking to herself. There it is. She's found it. She's found it. Cheryl.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Well, I can.
Yeah, what's
Yes.
up?
Hey, how are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to ask I don't know, I'm not real good at this stuff, so I appreciate y'all having these chats. And I do have a lot of your coins, Santa. I bought a lot of your silver coins. So, anyway, I wanted to ask, y'all had mentioned about the CBDC tokens, or
The central bank
coins or
digital
whatever they
currency.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've bought a lot of those on Lobster.
Oh no, no. Oh no.
Those are not good, right?
No. Anybody who ever says go to Lobster to buy anything is you're getting scammed.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Let's put it this way. I've never even heard of them.
Yeah.
I've never
Lobster
even
is
heard of them.
is a crypto exchange kind of thing, Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say on Telegram, that is one of the plagues that we have here. Obviously, you guys, like those of you on Twitter, you guys know that how's your trading going? Or you get the Chinese girl that's like, hi, and then they try to get you to, buy some crypto thing or an NFT or whatever. And, it's a scam. But Telegram is the same. So let's talk about that real quick. Scams. How do you know?
okay.
Anybody reaches out to you and says, hey, I see you're part of my chat, or like, how long have you been a member of my chat? Or they, and they look exactly the same, like they have the same exact, their profile picture's the same, and
Yeah.
all that. That's so easy to do, to make yourself look like another person. Okay. Let me just
Right.
here's an example. I'm gonna bring up an example here, and Santa's gonna laugh because I use this example. I've been using this example since we came over to Telegram. I created a Tom Hanks channel. Okay. So hold on. All right, here we go. This is from my channel, the Real Tom Hanks channel.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, it's totally for realsies. Like, I'm totally for realsies Tom Hanks. Like, and see, look, it's got his picture.
And then I like your watch the water.
Yeah, totally for
So-
realsies. This is, yeah. Join now before
Yeah, I
it's
know
too
what you're-
late.
I know what you're saying about the people that come on, they try to act like they're somebody else. I mean, I know I've seen those people come on, but so you're saying the whole lobster?
I would never buy
Is
anything
it?
off that lobster. The only thing I've ever known that lobster exchange for is for the people that message you and scam you. And there's a few channels that are fairly large on Telegram that push
I was gonna
these
name
scams.
one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet you it has it's a name and then 3 numbers at the end, right? Yep. Yeah, I'm not one into blasting people up, but I'm just gonna say that there is a channel that has a couple 100,000 people in it that talks about crypto, and a lot of these people have bought into that scam, and and they swear by them, and I'm just gonna say that if I say that person's name, I'm gonna get fucking thousands of bullshit fucking people. Oh my god, he's such a patriot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how much money
Well,
have you made? None. Okay, there you go.
I've heard people say that good and that well, this is on another Telegram channel, that he was selling scam tokens or whatever. But my experience with it is I've made a lot of, I mean, when you buy and sell the stuff on there, it's kind of like a stock market on the lobster wallet.
Be
I
careful.
don't know if you've done it.
You could be
But I've
rug
made
pulled at
a
any
lot of
moment.
XLMs on it.
Well, I mean, any exchange you can make money on, sure. Any exchange, any stock, any crypto, anything. But I mean, look at what was that token, Marcel? About a year ago, there was an ape token, I think.
Oh yeah, the non-sponsored, unaffiliated token called Ape Token. Yeah.
It shot up thousands, like in a couple of hours. It went fucking crazy, and some people made some money on it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it went to zero. Like just right down, like completely rug pulled. So, while I don't know the specific investment that you may be involved in, and again, it's totally your choice, I'm going to say my personal experience has been as soon as somebody mentions lobster, I'm like, nope, I'm good. I am good, because all I've ever heard is people get scammed in lobster. And if you've made money, great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But be careful, because that rug can get pulled out from underneath you so fast, and you will lose everything. So
just like
be careful.
Stronghold and stuff like that, are those not
What's that now?
like Stronghold and Doggy Token, stuff like that? The real big ones, are those supposed to be scams?
Oh, Doge token. The Dogecoin. That's that crypto actually. If there is one that I would be like, you know what, it probably is fairly safe, I would say Doge would be one of them. And the simple fact of the matter is because Elon pushes it.
They've got that. I mean, there's thousands of them.
Well, yeah, there's going to be all the different. There's going to be all the different cryptos on that lobster, crypto exchange. But I know there's a lot of scams on all the crypto exchanges. So I mean, that's.
But they're not backed by silver and gold, correct? They're saying that they are.
Oh, no way. No way. Someone in the chat here by the name of Bookman, who's been with us for almost 2 years now, is telling me that Lobster is not actually an exchange. They're a Stellar XRP wallet. And that's even more dangerous if that's the case, because if it's just a wallet where people can exchange crypto, it could be drained at any time. So that's even worse than if it was an exchange.
There are certain things. Well, have you heard of the what's it called? SDEX, SDEX Explorer, I think it's called, where you can actually look up the tokens on it that go with the stellar stuff that's on the lobster, I guess. Well, it goes for other stellar term, and I can't think of them now. There's several of them, but anyway, there are some on there that say they can be taken back, or they're not safe or whatever, but a lot of them do say they can't be and that they're locked or whatever. But the thing that I'm confused about is they push them and say that they're backed by silver and gold. They're going to be like this new,
Yeah.
the quantum financial system. Is this not the
No.
same thing that you're talking
Okay.
about?
So I'm
There's
just
not,
going to
no,
say this
it's
right
not.
now.
I mean,
I smell a
it's not.
scam.
Yeah,
smell
that
if
is-
they're
it
saying
is
something
not.
is part of the quantum financial system and that it's backed by silver and gold and it's a crypto, it's a scam.
Mhm.
Now, granted, you may make money on it. Again, it like anything like that, you could make money if you buy and sell at the right times. But I'm just going to say it's overall, it's a scam, and at some point the rug's going to get pulled out.
Mhm.
That's because there's no way, that there is something on there that's
Financial
backed by
system.
actual
It's
gold
not
and
the
silver.
same
That's
thing
part
as
of the QFS. Like if you've been told that, you've been told a lie.
Mhm.
Okay.
The
Alright.
the only thing that's in the quantum financial system is gold, and it's the rainbow currency, gold and silver-backed currency. That's it. But nothing. There's none of. And then there's going to be a quantum a way of doing transactions, but it's not this. Yeah. Remember, I don't know if you follow
It's
President
not,
Trump.
it's not using the stellar and the XRP and the stellar. That's not going to be in the.
XRP is just look. XRP is another crypto that I think will survive the impending crash. I don't think there's a whole lot of cryptos that will. I think XRP has the potential to be one of them. Doge, the DOGE Doge coin. I think that has the potential to be one of them. I think like Bitcoin and Ethereum probably will survive any kind of impending crash. But as far as the hundreds of thousands, probably at this point, of other cryptos and tokens and coins, you're rolling the dice in one of the most riskiest bets you can possibly make.
I just found this comment by Bookman, and he says that Lobster is not an exchange. It's actually a Stellar Lumen wallet where people can swap and exchange XLM into other assets. And he says it's mostly hot garbage. And Stellar Lumen was created by Warren Buffett and company, basically, evil crypto. So anything that's trading and exchanging on another wallet, that is something I would not want to have anything to do with personally. But again, we're not financial advisors. You can do whatever you want with your money. I would just not touch that with a 40-foot pole personally.
I guess a
Well, what
simple
about-
rule. I guess a simple rule of thumb is if you have to ask, I think you've answered your question. Not you, Cheryl, but just in general. I think a person.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to get on because I wasn't. I mean, I'm not real clear on all this stuff, obviously, but I am
That's
kind
okay.
of aware of what's going on. But I'm trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing. But do y'all know that? Well, I don't want to say his name. It's a Nicholas guy that's on one of these telegrams too that does a lot of gold and silver. And he pushed the XRP and the XLM too. And I was wondering because I always thought he was.
Well, those are just crypto. So it's like if someone's like bullish on crypto, then that just is what it is. That's a little different than like for example, like I say, I love AMC, but that doesn't mean that I expect other people to buy or sell AMC or hold it whatsoever. That I just share it to tell people what I know about it. You've got to do your own due diligence on it.
Yeah.
Well, that would be like, boss. That would be like if I said, "Hey, I like AMC." Okay, so I'm just bullish on AMC. Then that's fine. But if I were to say, "Hey, Cheryl, go to my website. It's Google, Google Sheets dot blah 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 whatever." I give you some random fucking address, and I'm like, "Hey, buy AMC on my on this other weird off exchange like bullshit." You know what I mean? Like you got to.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the XRP that you bought that's the issue. It's the medium, and that lobster wallet bullshit stuff is there's so many scams. Just be careful. Do your homework
I know.
outside of Telegram.
And if you want to buy crypto, your best bet would be like a real exchange, like a stock exchange or a crypto exchange, not some wallet. Like that's not a good idea in my opinion.
Yeah. Have y'all heard of the Stronghold? Like the bank Stronghold?
Nope.
Never heard of them.
Trump's mentioned that before.
Nope.
Okay, because if you go on that website, it's Stronghold, I think, .co. It actually tells you to buy it online.
They couldn't even buy a .com address.
What's
don't
that
know.
website again?
I'm just gonna
I just
say
figured that was an
off the top of my head, if it's stronghold.co and okay, I got to do this. Hold on.
bank. I mean, if you go on it, it's a legitimate website.
Well, hey,
Well.
I can make a legitimate website too. I need you to understand that anybody can make a website. Just like, okay, I know a lot of people, and Santa, I've seen you post up the National Debt Clock website. I just want everybody to know that that is a private website. That is somebody private that runs that website. We don't know where that information comes from or if it's even just made up. So, like, that people need to know that. But I'm going to.
I'm doing a source page on stronghold.co right now. I'm
Okay.
doing a source search while you're on.
Yeah,
And
see what you-
I'm
see
going
what
to
you
share
think about
this real
it.
quick. This is a post I put up in my Tom Hanks channel because I use that channel as an example of how easy it is to make things look like something else. So I'm going to share this, and Santa's going to laugh again because she fucking loves my Tom Hanks channel, because she knows it's fake or whatever. Okay, so here, can you guys see this now?
Yep.
Okay. So, look at that. Oh, Speaker Pelosi tweeted, I can't believe at Real Tom Hanks is promoting the wooden $1 forgive me coin. Only insurrectionists who have the racism would ever support this travesty. And look, August 6th, Twitter for iPhone. She really, for real, tweeted that. You know, with the forgive me $1 coin. Get your coins now. Join now before it's too late. Real Tom Hanks. And that's one. If you see all the fingers pointing to the link like this, I'm just going to tell you that's a telltale giveaway that it's a scamolio telegram. I'm just going to tell you right now that is one of their favorite things to do. They love those fucking fingers pointing to the link. They love it. Hold on. Matter of fact, I have another post that Santa's going to die when I share this.
Did you pull up the bank, Santa?
I did. I'm going to show a screenshot of where it goes to.
Here's a real Tom Hanks. There's the fingers. Join now. Tom Hanks for realsies. Join now before it's too late.
Okay. Would one of you mind sharing this by any chance?
Yes.
Thank you. This is what I came up with from looking at the source page, and it comes up with this guy. Let me just Aduro Advisors, which is not even mentioned anywhere on the website.
Duro Advisors.
Oh, here it is. No, I see it. I see Aduro Advisors. Okay. So what I did is I went on, you know what, let me just go on my screenshots. But that's the only thing I could see it going to is just going straight to Aduro Advisors logo.
I hope I did.
Sean Bennett, Stronghold Company founder. Who's Sean Bennett? Payments in seconds, not hours. See, okay, this is not. Yeah, I would run from this. They're going to be, and it's funny because our Twitter friend was warning us about a lot of quantum. They're going to use the name quantum, QFS, anything Q related, so that it can throw people off that are following the financial news and quantum financial system. But I am not seeing anything else.
I'm going to share this. I'm a researcher guy, so let me just share this here. If you're ever curious about a website, and okay, I'm just gonna say right now that if this was like a legitimate bank, you said it's a bank, right? Stronghold Bank, stronghold.co.
Yeah.
If you go to whois.com, let's explore together, shall we? Whois.com. Very simple. Okay, and type in stronghold.co and hit search.
Let me make sure I'm giving you the right one.
No, I think you did.
Yeah.
Here's stronghold.co, and you hit the little who is right here. And it's going to tell you it was registered in 2014. So that's kind of fairly new for a bank. But the thing that throws up the red flags for me is like
Redacted
literally
for
everything
privacy.
is redacted for privacy. If
Yep.
this was like a real bank, I'm just going to say right now that they would not be afraid to say, hey, here's where you can email us You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't be afraid to have their address and stuff in there.
And Aduro Advisors is a fund administrator who works with venture capital and private equity firms.
Interesting.
I'm gonna look at stronghold.com.
I'm trying to.
This is CWASP. See now this is look
Where are
stronghold.com.
you seeing? How are you pulling all this up? I can't see what you're doing on my phone.
Okay, you go to whois.com.
Whois.com.
Yep, WHOIS.com.
Okay.
And then you type in the address stronghold.co or stronghold.com. Let's see what this is here. Now I'm curious. Oh, that is not spelled correctly. My typing skills are failing. Stronghold.com. I try.
No, co.co.
It is stronghold.co. That
Yeah.
that right there just makes me super suspect to begin with. Because any major bank is not going to have a .co. Payment
Yeah.
financial infrastructure recognized by leading industry groups.
He's the co-founder, by the way. The guy you just passed.
Credit card.
So he says. Anyway, I think that if you have any doubts whatsoever, it's good that you ask. But there's a lot of kind of weird postings going on in Telegram.
Yeah, I honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'm on Telegram, so it's going to sound weird for me to say this, but don't take financial advice from people on fucking Telegram.
I hear you.
I mean, like,
Well, I mean, you could tell a lot of them are kind of, iffy just to look at them, but some of them, like the Stronghold, that one looked like a real.
Can I share something real quick?
Dog
Yeah. Okay. So
token or.
I don't mean to be
Okay.
rude, but I've got to get going. We've been here almost 2 hours, and
2
my
hours.
wife's
yeah,
calling
we're,
me.
yeah,
She
we're
needs
going to
my
have to wrap
help.
it up. I think Santa's going to wrap it up too.
So
I do.
I've got to head out.
thanks so much, boss. It was so great.
Questions.
All
Thank
right.
you guys. It's
Have
been
a good
great
one,
being
Cheryl.
with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you so much. All right. Thanks so much. This is great. I really. Is that on your Twitter? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Cooch picks
Cooch!
sent
I
this off
love
to me.
Cooch. Oh my gosh, I love him. I am going to share that you know what out of this. Thank you.
Come on, old
That-
Yeller.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
Well, we should probably
Yeah,
have
we
another
should
show
wrap
pretty
it up
soon.
too.
Yeah, and then next week maybe, or maybe the following week we can have another show because I think next week will be crazy. So thanks for all your insight and information, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you too, Santa, Woody. It's been a pleasure as always. Looking forward to doing this again soon. Thank you guys so much. Have a great
Thank
day.
you so much. All right, take care.
Thank you
Aloha.
guys. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot. Aloha.
Have a great day. Have a great evening and a great weekend, everybody. Wish you peace and wealth.